and dependent. Papa may have been a rolling stone, but Father was at home.
All right.
And we have to decide every day what we're going to be. Because the decisions that we make today are going to decide how our children are going to live tomorrow. If you want your son to be a strong man, be a strong man. If you want your son to be responsible, be responsible. Fatherhood is one of those areas you can't tell, you just got to do. I can't tell my son to be faithful to his wife and not be faithful to mine. I can't tell my son to spend time with his kids and not spend time with mine. I can't tell my son to go out there and provide and not do mine.
All right.
Fatherhood is something you have to do, and it's a teaching art through example, not through lecture. Fatherhood requires real men.
All right.
Men that understand that the reason you have broad shoulders is because you're supposed to carry weight. We don't have muscles to beat on our wives. We have muscles to tear the world down for us.
All right.
That's why we were born to be this way. Why God strengthened us to be a certain way. Why men are designed a certain way. Because there's a role that we're supposed to play. And if we don't play it, look at the world outside. It's falling apart because fathers have sat down. Too many fathers have sat down. And kids are raising themselves. Mama's trying to do both roles. She got to go to work. She got to come home and cook. She got to take care of the kids and take care of herself. And then sometimes try to find a way to be loving. And then when the kid acts up, then everybody's mad. But if you see the kid acting up, what did you do?
All
What
right.
did you do? Did you pull him on the side and say, hey, son, how you doing? You know, you shouldn't do that, right? Why don't we talk for a minute? Did you take the time to find out if they needed help? Did you take the time to find out where the deficiency was?
Right.
See, we can't spend so much time on the blame and not on the reconciliation. So for where the fathers have sat down, some of us are going to have to stand up. Some of us are going to have to pick up. Some of us are going to have to do more. You know what? I know people say this in our clothes. I told y'all I wasn't going to be up here long. People say, well, that's not my kid. That's not my problem. That's not my responsibility. That's not what I need to deal with. Somebody else needs to do it. Let me tell you something. If God would have looked at us the same way we look at some of these kids out here, we'd be in a burning hell right now.
All right.
If God would have said, well, that ain't mine.
Tell the truth.
I mean, if you really want to be technical about it, we're only adopted. You really want to be technical. We're adopted. We ain't even biological. We weren't even the first group we chose. We're adopted.
Watch out now.
And so if we're not willing to adopt somebody else, then you go back to the same parable of the unforgiven servant. When God said, now wait a minute, I forgave you of much more.
Right.
And now you will forgive your brother of a little. Well, God can say the same thing. I adopted you when the world was abusing you. I adopted you when nobody else wanted you. When you didn't have any other way to be saved, I adopted you into my heritage, into my lineage, into my family. And so how is it can we say that we are saved and that we are God-fearing men,
Watch out.
and we can't pick up somebody else's slack? We can't talk to another child. We can't pick up somebody else that needs to be dusted off and brought back to Christ.
Come on.
Yes.
Tell it, Pastor.
Yes.
That's word. Oh,
Men, we have to be men. And not just any kind of man,
Yes.
but godly men.
oh,
And a godly man cannot be satisfied until he knows his job is done.
All right.
And if you know that God called you in love, with loving kindness as he drawn thee, then you know that you were made to give love and kindness. You're not finished until you've drawn someone.
All right.
If I'm supposed to be like Christ and Christ drew me, then I need to draw somebody. And sometimes the person you're going to draw is going to be 10. And he doesn't know that he's not a bad kid, that he just don't know how to be a good kid. And until you teach him how to be a good kid, he's lost. He don't know that he don't have to wear his pants down to his ankles with his underwear out. He doesn't know because that's all he's ever seen.
right.
And every so-called man that he saw dressed that way. Every so-called man he saw had 3 or 4 girlfriends and 5 or 6 kids, and he didn't know there was another mankind.
Oh, yes.
Say that.
What up?
Word.
But if we want them to be different, then we got to give them a different example.
Yes.
We can't just look at them out our car windows and shake our heads and drive home to our kids.
Yeah. Come on, man.
We got to get out there. We got to touch some lives.
Wow.
We got to do it. Because we can't expect God to do it all. He did the first part. He set us free. He set us free to go free others. He saved us so we could save others. He taught us so we could teach others.
Come on.
Right.
He fathered us so we could father others. As we celebrate Father's Day on today, fathers, I appreciate each and every one of you. I applaud you because you are doing what many won't.
Yes.
You are doing, there are many men that have children,
Yeah.
but there aren't as many fathers anymore.
That's right.
And we have to take that up. Because unless we do, we're dooming the world. Unless we do, we're dooming our children and our children's children to a world of mediocrity, poverty, ignorance, and selfishness. Because that's all they see. See, fathers self-sacrifices.
Right.
You may not see him, but believe me, he hurts. He cries. He's doubled over sometimes. See, that's one of the reasons why people don't always understand why it's so in season to give father some credit. Because daddy don't know how to tell you sometimes how much he's done. Daddy just figures that's part of the job. So he comes home and he goes to sleep, he eats some food, he goes back out.
Amen.
And everybody gets to spend time with mama. Mama's the loving one. Mama kisses the boo-boos and makes you feel better. And everybody loves mama. But don't forget about daddy. Don't forget about the one that when you get real scared, you run up under. You run under mama for certain things. But when you get real scared, you running up to daddy. Yeah, you want somebody to come in and save you.
All right.
Well, don't forget about it. And for those fathers, I know your families did a wonderful job with you today. And I encourage you to continue to be the men that you are for your families. But don't stop there. Don't stop there. There are young men everywhere that need to see you. Because they need to know what they can be, even if their biological wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
With that,